Thank you for joining us for another session of dedication. Fans remember the Bay City Rollers, hosted by Bay City Rollers fan events. I'm Suze, and co-hosting is Laura. Hi, Laura.
Hey, Suze, how
How's
you
it go?
doing?
Good. How's it going?
Good,
All right.
thanks.
With us this week, we're chatting with Tammy Lytle from California. Tammy has so many great stories that this is going to be a two-parter. So let's get started. So Tammy, let's start at the beginning. How did you discover the Rollers, and how old were you?
Well, first of all, hi to both you, Sue
Hi.
and
Hi.
Laura. Great to talk to you.
Yeah, you too.
Um, so I first became aware in about 1974. I had a pen pal who lived in Wales, and I had been writing to her for like since fourth grade. And in 1974, she was writing about this band that was popular over there in the UK, and she was telling me all about them. And I thought, oh, wow, well, they must be a really, really cool band. So, once 1975 came around and I saw the Howard Cosell show, I was like, okay, yeah, this is a great band. And of course, my eyes went straight for Eric. And
Aww.
I have never wavered from him since.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
It's those eyes.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Definitely, yeah.
But
Definitely.
you
Now, of
weren't.
course, the rest of the band, and I'm sure all of us fans did this. We had our favorite, and then we had, okay, who was number two, who
Oh,
was,
back up.
third, and
Yeah.
and it shuffled, and now for me, and I'm sorry to say this, Laura, but Derek was always last for me.
That's okay. We can still be friends.
Good, good. That is so good. And then, yeah, so it was great seeing them on the Howard Cosell show, and of course I couldn't get over all of the screaming because I'm not really a screamer, but it was just really, really cool to see this band, first of all, dressed in their tartan outfits, their roller gear,
Yeah.
and they are really looking cute, but of course Eric,
Yeah.
but
We stood out, of
we were
course.
all hooked from that moment. That's for sure.
exactly, exactly.
Now, were you in California then?
Yes,
Okay.
my family had moved to California in 1972. Prior to that, we lived a year in New Jersey, and then prior to that, I was born in Ohio. And when I was just about three, we moved to Virginia because that's where my sister was born. My dad was in the army at
Oh, I
that time.
see.
He was,
I was
he was only
wondering.
in the army for like I think 4 years. We moved back to Ohio, then to New Jersey, and then to Southern California, where I lived until 1995, and then moved up here to the San Francisco Bay Area in '95.
Still a Cali girl.
Yep, yep.
So once you got out to California, how did things change?
um, well, nothing really related, of course, until 1974, 1975. But when we first moved out here, my dad, he was on a couple of different game shows. And the one I think in 1974 was called Baffle. I don't know if you guys might remember that.
I don't know that one, but
Yeah,
that's fascinating.
yeah. And then he was also on, and this was a couple years later. He was on one called High Rollers. Alex Trebek.
I remember High Rollers. Yep.
Yes.
With the big dice.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I remember. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was really, really cool for that taping. Um, my mom, me, my sister, my grandparents were out, and my Aunt Flo were out, and we all went to the TV taping. And that taping was when he, rolled the dice, and he ended up winning a Pinto.
Oh
He
my
won a car.
gosh.
Wow.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's high living back then, a Pinto.
yeah, yeah, definitely,
Oh,
definitely.
that's hilarious.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, but then, so 1975, just kind of getting to being more aware of the band, seeing them on TV and stuff.
Mm.
And then 1976, of course, was like the year that the band exploded, all
Yeah.
over the world.
Yep, that was the big year for us. Yep.
that was,
Definitely.
I mean, 76 was the absolute year. And let's see, it was in, I'm not sure which month it was, but it was probably a couple months before the taping. But the local, or the LA radio station, 93 KHJ, they they were giving away tickets for the taping of the Bill Cosby show,
Oh,
or maybe it
wow.
was Cause at the time. Um, and that night, I think I had to go and babysit at another house. My best friend at that time, Lauren, so we both were, calling on respective, telephones, and we had the push button phones, so that was
They're all faster than that old
Yeah, you
rotary.
definitely had the edge if you had the push button phone.
exactly, exactly. And oh, I tried and tried. I mean, my fingers hurt so bad.
Oh.
And I kept listening on the radio, and they kept saying, "Okay, we only have this many pairs left, and then this many pairs." And I think once it dwindled down to maybe like 20 pairs left, I mean, I just was like so upset, and because I wanted to go so bad.
It's like
Oh,
Charlie
that's
getting the
fun.
golden ticket.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I then called Lauren, and I said, well, I did not get through at all. And she, kind of like in a whisper, and sort of excited whisper, I guess, the way I would explain it, she was like, I won. I go, what?
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Wow.
So she goes, I won tickets. And I go, are you kidding me? And she goes, no. And then she reeled off that, this is the time that the taping was going to happen. This is where it was going to happen. She gave me all the details, and I was like, oh my God.
You knew it was
Start
legit.
crying for it,
How exciting.
Mm.
Yeah, that was, oh my gosh. I just couldn't believe it. Wow, we're actually going to go see the Bay City Rollers.
That's amazing.
So the taping happened. It was in August of 1976, and I always forget. I have it written down somewhere because I wrote something for school, like a English class, like a little report or something. So I've got the right date in that, but I keep forgetting. So it was either like a couple of days prior to Ian's 18th birthday or a couple days after.
Okay.
And I'm sure someone out there will know exactly, the date of the taping.
Yeah.
So we were, getting excited about it. I didn't really have any roller gear at the time, but I did have some tartan scarves, which I put around my wrist. Her father drove us up, and this was at ABC Studios in Hollywood. Her father drove us up, and then my father was going to pick us up, later that day, since he worked up near the LA area. So we got up there, I think it was like about 8 in the morning, and there were already probably at least 10 girls there.
Wow.
Uh, yes, and this is August in LA, so it was hot.
So for a taping that's happening, like say, like at 5 o'clock that night or later.
It was, I think they let us in like around 3:30.
Oh yeah, you were hardcore.
Yes.
We got to get there at 8 a.m.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I had, because we knew it was, Ian's birthday right around that time, I had actually gone ahead and made a little sign on cardboard. I glued some tartan material around the edges, and then in purple pen, and if anyone knows me, well, that I love purple. And I
Yeah.
have purple stuff up the yin-yang. And I've always written with a purple pen, purple ink. So in a purple, like, marker, I guess, like a Sharpie, I wrote "Happy Birthday, Ian," and took it with me. So once we were inside, they started to do the taping of dedication, singing dedication.
Hmm.
Because that
Oh,
was
that's a great song.
a big song then, right? And of course, with Ian being a new member, that was, his thing, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I remember sitting in the audience, and when they queued up the tape, because they were lip syncing, they queued
Yeah.
up the tape, and you hear the strings, da 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 da, and then he steps up to the microphone, he opens up his mouth, to start to, lip sync, and the tape like cut.
Oh
It
boy.
stopped. And just like within a second, he just sort of looked around and kind of did a,
Oh yeah.
popping, kind of making light of it. So that was kind of funny. But then they, queued it up again, and everything worked fine. After the show, of course, we were waiting around for my father to come and pick us up. So we're just kind of wandering the parking lot, around the studios and stuff. And I still have my sign. And at one point, I looked over and I see this guy come walking over, and he's got this huge clear plastic bag that had, I could see, tons of stuffed animals, and I could see probably like cards and letters and all that kind of stuff. It was massive. So he comes walking over to us, and he says, hey, I've got all these things that I'm going to take back to the rollers. Do you have anything that you'd want to give them? And I sort of looked at Lauren. She looked at me, and I'm giving her this eye like, yeah, right, this is going to get to the guys, But I had this sign, and I thought, well, you know what? What am I going to do with it? So I quickly wrote I know I wrote my name, but either my, phone number or my address or something, kind of chucked it in the bag, didn't even think twice about it afterwards.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, my dad comes pick us up, and then that's the end of that part. And then now Lauren, she was half Japanese, so she had some relatives in Japan. So several months later, I know it may have been like a spring break or something, because it was earlier in the next year in '77. She, I think, and her family went to Japan for a visit, and when she got back, she called me and told me to meet her at the corner, because we actually lived like basically across a park from each other, up and around the corner,
Right.
kind of diagonal. So I met her up at the corner, and she goes, I have to show you something. And I'm like, okay. She had one of those Japanese, rock magazines, and she opened it up, and she, showed it to me, and I looked, and I almost died, because
What?
there was a picture of Ian holding my son.
No way. Oh my
Yes,
god.
way. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Wow.
I had totally forgot about that sign. It's like, yeah, whatever, let's move on with my life,
Wow. Definitely
Wow.
pre-Instagram. That would have been on the internet within a minute, and now it's like half a year later you see it again. That is
I know.
absolutely incredible. Tell me you
I know.
have this magazine.
I'm sorry?
Tell me you have the magazine.
No, unfortunately, and I
Oh.
wish she would have given it to me at some point in time. And I have been, in the last probably 10 years, been looking around and asking around for it. I don't know if it was, I don't remember the name of the magazine, but it would have been an issue that I believe came out in early 1977. So maybe one of the first couple of months. I did ask her if she could translate it, because of course it was all in Japanese.
Right.
And she said that basically what it said was that, Ian got this from a fan, for his birthday.
Wow.
Aww.
Oh, we got to put the call out to our
I'm
roller
so
friends.
excited. So excited.
Yeah, we got to put the call out to our roller friends to find this magazine, find this picture of Ian holding that sign, and get it to you. We've got to get that.
That
We've got to get that to
amazing.
you. Someone's got to have that somewhere in roller world.
Oh, somebody has to have it,
Well, you were so lucky. I mean, we had Mike Douglas in Philadelphia, but he did move to L.A. at some point. But
Right.
you were in the place where it was all happening. I mean, they were on TV
Right.
all the time. Did you
Yeah.
get to see any other shows taped?
Yes. Well, also in 1977, the big concert for me was on June 3rd at Anaheim Convention Center.
Oh.
So, that and we had third row, because I think my neighbor across the street.
Third
knew
row,
somebody
you
local
kidding
to
me?
convention.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was cool.
What was the
So
what was the lineup
that's
then?
really cool. It's a game tour, so it was
Okay,
four of them.
the four of them,
Like,
right?
yeah, because I think Pat was gone by then,
Yeah,
wasn't
I
he?
think he was.
Yeah,
Yep. Okay.
yeah. So it was just the four. So that was cool. Um, then also that year in '77, um, oh gosh, I was writing to for tickets for like the midnight special, or actually I was just saying, hey, whatever tapings they're going to be doing, I'll take tickets.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I actually ended up getting tickets to a couple of the tapings of the midnight special, and one of them was when they were hosting it.
And wasn't
And
that when they first wore like regular length pants? Was that the first time they came out like in street gear, if you will?
uh, yes,
Like
but
not roller gear.
yeah, but I think wasn't that the year that Eric wore those
The short,
shorts?
the shorts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Oh yeah.
Let's see, who I remember somebody giving those shorts a name like Spanky Shorts
Spank
or
me shorts.
Spank Me Shorts. That's it. I
It
almost forgot
works.
about that. So
So
that was
you,
actually kind of nice.
so you were in the audience for that taping,
Yes,
and
yes. And actually, let's see, Lauren and your friend Sherry, who we ended up meeting in high school as well through, I think, Tiger Beater 16 magazine. Um, we went to that taping, and we ended up sitting like on one of the other stages, kind of across from the stage that they were on,
okay.
as opposed to sitting down on the floor.
Mhm.
And let's see, I'm not sure where Lauren was sitting. She must have been beside me, but I distinctly remember Sherry being beside me. She, big Derek fan, and she was like squealing, and I'm like, oh my god,
Screamer, line one.
you know, we're gonna get in trouble. And then, at one point, and this is before, the band. Well, actually, I think the band was on stage, and we were just kind of getting ready for everything. And security guy came over and told us that if we weren't quiet and stopped screaming, that we would be, like thrown out.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
So me, I'm not the screamer. Sherry was.
Mm.
So I like grabbed her arm and I said, "Just shut up. Just don't say a word. Just wait until we get outside after all this is done."
Yeah. Don't get us thrown out, girlfriend.
No.
Right. There was another midnight special taping that we were at that they did the main midnight special, and then they turned it into I think we must have gone on to another set, because it then ended up being the taping for the New Year's Eve special.
Yeah, rocking in the new year or something like that. I remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah, something like that. So there was, all the balloons and everything. So that was really, really cool.
Oh, I bet that was fun.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
definitely.
I would
Definitely.
have loved to have been. I would have loved to have been at those tapings. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, and of course, we get there early and we're standing outside with all the other fans and we're chit chatting, and I'm pretty sure I met, several probably pen pals, at that time. Also, you know what? In '77, in February, I had organized this kind of like a birthday celebration for Woody. His birthday, I think, was on a Saturday that year,
Mm-hmm.
and I organized it over the 93 KHJ. They wouldn't actually say it on air, but what they did was, and this was their suggestion, is that when girls, if anyone called in and requested a roller song, that they would then give them the information and my phone number. So I got,
Wow.
yeah, it was really cool. So we went there. Somebody's mother took, I think we all spent the night together at one of our houses, and just had a great time. I did actually meet one of my pen pals there, um, and also, how rumors are. Rumors started going around that either that they were all dressed up as one of the characters and walking around the park.
Oh, wow.
I mean, really? But of course, back then we were like, oh, well, somebody was like Goofy and somebody was, whoever else. But
That's so
of
funny.
course, that was all false. But we still had a great time. And what was really cute is I think before we went in, we all got together just outside of the gates, and we were having some people take our pictures. But then there was a whole bunch of Japanese people who wanted to take our pictures too, because we're all in our
Dressed
wedding
up.
gear.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you were a novelty.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was a fun time as well. Um, and then 1978 came around. That was I graduated in '79, so that was my senior year, '78, '79. In October of 1978, I met Wendy, Ian's wife,
Mm-hmm.
and through mutual friends, because there were a few of us roller fans that kind of all stayed together. We
Yeah.
were various ages in high school, and so the mutual friends actually brought Wendy and her sister Maria to meet up with like Lauren and me and Sherry,
Okay.
and so we all became friends, and um, you know
Yeah, we all found each other somehow before social
yes,
media.
always.
Okay, we're going to stop here for this session of dedication. Fans remember the Bay City Rollers. Please be sure to check back soon for part 2 of Tammy's session as she talks more about her Bay City Roller adventures in hotel rooms, meeting band members, and becoming somewhat of a matchmaker that led to an ultimate Bay City Roller / fan wedding. You don't want to miss these great stories. Check back with us soon. Thank you.